Rebellions are built on hope.
And welcome to another episode, another season, another year of Radio Rebellion. I am Alberto Calderon, that's Oti, Juan Canovi over there, and we are your hosts of Radio Rebellion, a Star Wars podcast. Oti, it's 2024, we made it. How are you doing? Our first episode back, it's been like 30, I don't know, like 5 weeks, whatever amount that is.
Hello, Stonehenge!
There we go, let's do some. Turn it up to 11 today. Happy New Year, Oti. How are you today?
Happy New Year, Alberto. Happy Merry Christmas. Feliz Dia de Reyes. Christmas, it came and went so fast because even in Puerto Rico, where Christmas lasts forever, it ends next week. So,
yeah, you're still going through it. So,
yeah, it's next weekend. It's when it officially ends.
Yeah, it's always funny when I'm here just getting ready. It's not even New Year's and people already taking down their Christmas lights like 3 days before Three Kings Day. The trees are out. I'm like, we're halfway. What are you guys doing?
On the 26th, I was in Tampa in my in-laws' house, and they have a Puerto Rican bakery nearby. So I went to look for pan sobao on the 26th.
Best.
And as I left the neighborhood, like, trees were outside already. I was like, what the hell? No. Like,
yeah.
There's still like a month left. Like, come on.
They're still green. People didn't even flush them out. It's like, what are you doing? Just take it, put it on my roof. I'll take it back home. Anyway, 2024, we'll call it our 8th season or whatever. Our 4th year, not to the day, but it's our 4th year doing this podcast.
We should do the Doctor Who thing and just call it Series 1 without like explaining anything. Like, we're reverting.
Let's go. Let's start. It's Series 1 today. And we'll talk a little bit about Doctor Who. You've been doing your rewatch. We didn't get to talk about the church on Ruby Road. So we'll see if we have time today.
Oh, you haven't talked about it. Okay.
No, that's when we left. We're talking about Christmas. You get any Star Wars gift this year?
I did. I haven't unpacked since I got back because I got back on Sunday and then Monday I had to work. So it's still in my bag. I got the timeline book, which
nice.
It was the kind of thing that I didn't want to buy for myself because I know there's gonna be a version in 5 years.
Yeah, it won't make any sense.
I mean, it's the kind of thing like until Star Wars ends, like it doesn't really make sense.
It's
but
impossible.
whatever, it's still fun. I got it. I have not sat down with it. It's been in my bag since I opened it.
I got this one finally. Art of the High Republic.
Oh, that's a good one.
I still got probably about 50 pages. No, probably like 75 pages.
Oh, you're really?
Yeah, I love it. Love it so much.
I have to be super honest with the art books. I love them. I never read them. For me, they are like picture books. I just love. I randomly will sit down on my sofa and just see them and be like, "Oh, let me read the Last Jedi one."
Yeah,
and go over it. They're fun, but I haven't really read them.
I love reading them, and sometimes it kind of drowns out a little bit. But especially when it talks about all the different versions before they get to that final version of a character, of a plan, or whatever. And just reading right now, I'm finally reached the villains. So the Drengir, the Nile, Markion Row, and just going through that process and how they get to that final design, it's always very intriguing. So very loving. And also got a little low keep up.
Oh, that's a cool one.
Which actually I ordered for myself in Black Friday, but it got pushback. Didn't get here. It got here while I was out on my trip. So my daughter grabbed it and said, "No, I'm gonna wrap this up and you won't have it till Christmas," as her gift to me. I'm like, all right, set on my trip for a whole month. All right, actually, before we start and we checked on the comments, as we were leaving, and you already announced it on your social media, you have a new podcast starting soon.
I'm doing a new podcast, yes. Bad Wolf Broadcast. It's gonna be a Doctor Who podcast, and this is where I am in my life, I guess. We're gonna be launching pretty soon. I don't know if it's gonna be this week or next week.
Oh, wow.
I think we settled on Tuesdays as release date. I need to go back and review this. And yeah, and I asked you to be in it. So we have to talk about it.
Yeah,
So yep.
I'll be there. Tell me in advance, 'cause I'll probably have to rewatch a bunch of stuff, but I'm very excited. And I think one of my favorite things, as we're going to talk about today, our favorite Star Wars things of 2023, is this journey for you. From, dude, I'm done. I've tried it. I don't want to talk about it, to just announcing a Doctor Who podcast that you're doing. So I
It's
love this.
pretty funny because as I've mentioned a lot of times, I try to watch the show before,
Hmm.
and I don't remember anything I watched with David Tennant really. From Eccleston, I remembered when I watched Rose, but with Matt Smith, it's like the bulk of the episodes I did. I
Yeah.
was like, no, I'm gonna like this, and my friends like it, so I have to like it.
Yeah.
And for example, there was an episode, the God Complex one, the one
Hmm.
where they're stuck in this hotel that's like a prison.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That episode's awesome. Like I
Hmm.
loved it. I freaking loved it when I watched it this time. But like I had this memory of watching it and being like, this show is just so absurd. Like, why do people like this?
Yeah. I mean, Doctor Who, I know, and people say, just like your whole kind of journey to it was, oh, just give me a one-off episode and or go to Blink or this or that. To me, you need to kind of watch all of it or most of it just to get into that mind for
It's
what this show is. You need all that experience.
I was watching the 11th, so I was in my in-laws house during the holiday most of the time, and I would watch most of the episodes on my iPad or computer
Mhm.
because there's only like one big TV there, and I didn't
Yeah.
want to like hog it all the time. But like I get up early, so I would put episodes, and I would love people's reaction when they walk by and be like, "Is he watching Power Rangers? Like, what is this?" Like the 11th
Yeah.
hour episode, like when we see the stars in the eye, like
Mm.
my girlfriend was like, "Just please put something else."
Yeah. No one else in my house can even. Same thing. They walk
It's,
by Doctor Who, like, okay, I'll just walk the other way. This is too weird.
but what I was telling my girlfriend is like, I'm pretty sure that it's the kind of show you have to like force yourself to watch
Mhm.
and like get the vibe of the show,
Yeah.
and once you get it, it's cool. Like yeah, the CGI is terrible at all the time. So production value isn't great all of the time, but I don't care. I like the
Doesn't
story. I
matter.
love the characters. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm hooked.
All right, so we'll look forward to that new podcast coming out soon. All right, guys, everyone watching out there, thanks for being here. We'll go to the chat in a minute. If you're
Oh,
new
and
to
by
our
the way,
show,
that show will be in English, so everyone can
there we
jump
go.
from here to
Perfect.
there.
We'll just do a continuation, 2 hours thing. Thanks for joining us on Radio Rebellion. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, like this video, and comment down below if you're watching this later on the replay. And let us know all your thoughts on all the topics we're going to be talking about today. And if you're listening on the audio podcast, also give us a rating, review, all that fun stuff, and follow us on all our social media. All right, so let's go ahead. If you guys are ready, I'm not ready. Let's talk Star Wars and Star Wars news. Star Wars news. All right, Oti, we mentioned it. I think before we started, I mentioned Oti when we went out. Last episode that we did, we were like, okay, we're gonna be taking a little break. We won't be doing weekly episodes because there's not a lot of Star Wars news, and we kind of coming up to this week, zero Star Wars news. I'm like, man, we're gonna have to fight for the today's episode, so everything we're gonna talk about, and then everything dropped. And when
Yep.
I talk everything, and the first news we're gonna talk about today is something we talked about 5 weeks ago. As this can't be happening.
Oh,
It's
it's
all wrong.
ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Before we get to it, who's in the chat today, Oti?
Okay, so in this chat we currently have Dale. Hi, Dale.
Dale, thanks for joining us.
And
Happy New Year.
Alan is also here. Happy
Alan, of
2024,
course,
Alan.
I saw his post from Disneyland a few minutes ago, so enjoy the time over there.
Alan
All
says
right,
that
so
he reads the article books the same way I read the DK books for the previous. Okay, cool.
all right. So first news that I still can't believe this is happening. It just announced officially that the Mandalorian and Grogu are coming to the big screen very soon. John Favreau is, of course, producing and directing this movie. And I had it as a question today, but I think it's also been confirmed that he's going to be half of the writing team, with, of course, Dave Filoni
Hello.
filling the other half, which is no surprise. I've done the whole series. So, Oti, let's start right there. Like I mentioned, we talked about this on our last episode last year. are they confusing season 4 with the movie? I mean, with the Dave Filoni movie, this really can be happening. The actors are saying they're going back. They're really excited for season 4. And before we start breaking it down, are you still in the same boat? Like, this doesn't make a lot of sense for, I guess, what we were expecting Lucasfilm to be doing at this point.
Okay.
It's a great way to start the year with a big sigh.
Yeah. I think I've made it make sense.
Mhm.
I'll be like extremely honest. I don't love this idea. I think it's super weird. I don't think it's gonna go the way
Mhm.
Disney and Lucasfilm may think it's gonna go, but I'm just a guy in an island in the middle of the Caribbean. Like,
Yeah.
what the hell do I know? So, um, am I excited for it? I don't know. I'm like cautiously
Mhm.
optimistic about it. Will I be there day one
Yeah,
first showing?
exactly.
Yes,
Yeah.
and probably day 2 and day 3. Because it's a Star Wars movie, I'm
Mhm.
gonna be excited to be going to a theater to watch a Star Wars movie. But there's like a lot of things going through my head when I think about this, so I'm like all over the place with it.
All right, so we'll get into. I was again. I have even my notes. Still weird, but I'm excited because it's a Star Wars movie. No matter what some people out there thought of season 3, Mandalorian. It's always been exciting. I like watching the episodes. It's always an exciting time, and to see that in the big screen, seeing and hearing the theme come up, and then
Dun-dun.
we're all gonna lose it. What's the story going to be? Is this going to be straight from the end of season 3? And we'll talk about that, what we think, not what the story is, but because right now you can say, well, it doesn't make sense to make a movie. The story ended, there's not connecting anything. Or you
It,
can say it's actually the perfect way to start a movie because it can just be a brand new adventure.
that's where that's like my first thought. Like
Mhm.
it's funny because when season 3 ended, people were like, this felt like a series finale,
Yeah.
not a season
Mhm.
finale. So now, like, this being like a new start in the theater, that kind of
Yeah.
makes sense. And I'll make a point that I think a lot of people maybe think about it, but maybe not. There's a lot of Star Wars fans, like big Star Wars fans, that will go to the theater when a new episode something comes out and will watch it with their
Mhm.
whole family that don't watch The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, when Dave's movie comes out eventually, they would have been like, "Oh, this is the conclusion to that show I haven't watched a single episode of."
Mhm.
So maybe they'll skip it. And this could in some way be a way to maybe introduce people who only go to the theater to watch Star Wars to the Mandalorian, catch them up with what the story has been so far,
Sure.
and send them into Dave Filoni's movie whenever that comes out. But on the other side, I know a lot of people who don't watch The Mandalorian who will be like, "Oh, that's the movie for the TV show I don't watch, so I'm not gonna watch it."
I mean, it's two things, and I mentioned it last time, and someone dropped a spoon or something. Um, this doesn't seem to me like the big return to the theaters for Star Wars, right? It's gonna be at this point, if this comes out 2026, which is what most people expect, May 2026, it's gonna be like 7 years since Rise of Skywalker. This isn't the return to the big screen for Lucasfilm for me. But even like Alan mentioned when he was here, all the time he spends at Disneyland, all the grandmas and all those people with their Grogu shirts, their Baby Yoda, they know who that is, even if they haven't watched all 3 seasons. And even the title, if they stick with The Mandalorian and Grogu, which I think is a horrible title, well, that's what the general people that don't see every Star Wars, oh yeah, let's go see that movie with The Mandalorian and Grogu. They'll know that, even if they put Hidden Empire or whatever. I don't know what that is, I'm not going to watch it. So the name, for the average viewer out there, they'll understand it. What movie you want to watch? Ah, the one with Grogu and that Mando guy. They'll get it. It sucks. It's
It's
a
it's
terrible
it's
name, and I hope they
it's
change it.
gonna be Star Wars, The Mandalorian, and Grogu adventures.
So for
I'll say this: honestly don't like many Star Wars titles. So, like,
Yeah, I do remember.
do you remember that Solo's title reveal? Like, oh, here's the title. Oh, it's
Solo.
exactly what we thought it was gonna
Yeah,
be.
and I think people were, oh, it can't be Solo or it's gonna be Han Solo. It's like it's so dumb. No, it's just Solo. Oh, so speaking of the adventures of the Mandalorian Grogu, whatever, is this the first of a trilogy? With Filoni's movie being either the second one and then a conclusion as the third one, or Filoni's movie the third one, there's something in between.
that
I'm thinking this is going to be a trilogy of this Mando universe.
I think this is the way this is gonna play out. I think this movie's gonna come out depending on when it starts to
Mm.
shoot. It could even come out next year. Like again, depending on whenever that movie starts to shoot. If it
Yeah.
starts to shoot on December, I don't think they'll make it to next year. But if it starts to shoot like in the spring, maybe.
Yeah. They said
So
it's going to start this year, I think, or at
that's
least
what they said.
production, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
but that's what I said. It depends on
Mhm.
when they start doing it. But
Yeah.
we could realistically get this movie December next year. So then the year after that, we may get the Ray movie, and then the year after that, we get the Dave
Mhm.
Filoni movie. So it's like 2 years in between these two movies, just like we had with the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
So it could kind of make sense.
So a lot of people have been kind of speculating, like we're doing today, that there's a Star Wars film kind of ready for May 2026 and then another for December. But I know we all know that with the actors
Oh,
and the
they
writers
do that.
strike, everything got pushed. And some people think that this is coming May 26 and then the Ray movie December 26. I'm really hoping they don't do that. Give it
Nah,
time to breathe. It's
I really
more
like the
confusion that's not needed.
one a year
Yeah.
Star Wars movie. If they do 2 a year, that's like the thing. I'll be there, like, and I'll be happy. Like, it's not like I'll be a Star Wars movie, but I like the 1 year wait. I don't know. I love Star Wars, but I also love my time away from Star Wars.
Yeah, what I'm getting tired of, and again, like you said, at the end of the day, I'm just a fan. It doesn't matter. It's every time the big wigs come on TV or on their little conventions, is we're taking a break. We're pausing this, we're pausing that. We're gonna give it time to breathe. Oh yeah, here's an unannounced movie that's actually coming like right now. Like, didn't we just go through this? Aren't we putting a break on it? Yeah, but now we got a what if animated series. But where's the break? Where's the time to let things breathe and make it special instead of just push, push, push? Like,
Hey, but
yeah.
let's hold the what if thing for a minute.
Yeah, no.
It's not an official announcement or anything.
Yes.
But yeah, my biggest fear with this, and again, by the way, a studio rush movie can still be good. Like a movie with a ton of production issues can still be good. It doesn't mean it's gonna be bad. But my biggest fear here is that like Disney had a horrible box office year, and they were like, we need a Star Wars movie. That made $1 billion, right? It's gonna do it again. Favreau, go get your movie, turn your season into a movie. Let's do it right now. But the other side of that is like Favreau has the standing to be like, you know what, I want to make a movie, and Kevin Kennedy be like, hey, Bob, John wants to make a movie. Okay, let him make it. Yeah, we don't know. We don't know how those conversations went.
All right, so last thing on this. As I say this, I don't know if it's my side, your side, and you're lagging a little bit. At least, whatever. Just for the people out there, they know. Audio is fine, but let's talk about this that you mentioned, and everyone's thinking about it. Season 4. Is it going to be a short season, which is what I thought first? We'll get a 4 to 6 episode season 4 that will lead into the movie. Or is season 4 either scrapped or coming after the movie? Do you think season 4 is still up for grabs? Or do you think, it's just going to be the movie's coming afterwards? Or, I don't know. It's different. Different voices out there, because we all expected the season 4 to start shooting soon, and now they're gonna start doing the movie at some point this year. I don't know.
I mean, I don't think they'll do the movie and season 4 within a year of each other. Like,
okay,
this is what I think.
Mhm.
Again, this is just based on what I think. I don't have knowledge or read anything. It's just me. I think Disney hopes this movie is a massive hit
Mhm.
and they can scrap the show and just
Okay,
turn this into a movie franchise.
we'll see. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they start kind of slowing down the TV side of Star Wars and just focus on the movies, because you said it 20,000 times on this show. Lucasfilm is a movie studio, but also know how much they love Disney Plus and want that to be a hit. So I don't think they'll kind of push everything. But I think The Mandalorian is kind of coming to an end as a TV show, and maybe just a couple of movies to end it makes sense for them.
But that's where I'm coming from. Movie studios sunk billions of dollars into these platforms.
Yeah.
And they have not paid the return they
Mhm.
wish it did. And now it's cost mitigating time. Like Disney Plus has existed for what, like 5 years now? Oh,
Yeah,
4.5.
2019, I think.
Yeah, late 2019. So like
Mhm.
almost 5 years. I think like if it still hasn't turned the profit they want, the writing's on the wall. They're not gonna be like, let's give it 5 more years and
Yeah.
see if we finally like break the formula. Like, I think they're gonna start. Again, I don't think streaming is going away. I just don't think it's gonna be what it is right now.
And I hope it isn't, because right now I hate a lot of it. For the reason that we came into streaming, it's moving the other way, and I just saw my Apple TV go up 50% from when I signed up. It's like used to be $5. I'm paying 12 now with taxes. Anyway, that's a separate conversation. Before we move to our next topic, I know the chat is going wild. Who's out there? What are some comments on this
I,
Mandalorian movie?
I was surprised. Bug is in the chat. He's
Buck, how you doing,
yeah.
Buck? Thanks for joining us today.
Buck accidentally wrote from another account, which I won't show because he was like, "I hope you didn't see it." It's fine, Buck. Buck is saying that teachers were, at work, people were excited and happy for the
Yeah.
Mando and Grogu news. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure like a lot of people. I saw Twitter, like a lot of people were excited. They were, "This is the right move," and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm over here in my corner, like, really?
Yeah.
Again, what the hell do I know?
Mhm.
Alan is saying that Disney needs the new audience. There's a lot of layoffs coming at
Yeah.
Pixar, so Mando and Grogu seems like the easier, familiar. Yeah, that's true. And look who's here, Roberto.
Hey, Roberto. How you doing, Roberto?
And look who just got here, Brandon.
Hey, Brandon. Hello there. Thanks for everyone for joining us today. Again, it doesn't make sense for us, but I think for a lot of people out there that are not doing a Star Wars podcast every week, yeah, I know those guys. I love Baby Grogu. Let's take my kids to watch it. I think it'll make money. I don't think it's gonna make $1 billion, but I think it'll get them on the right track, I guess.
And another concern I have, I really hope this movie doesn't cost $300 million.
That's the main thing, yeah.
Like, but I also don't want it to be like an hour and a half Star Wars movie with no, like, I like Star Wars movies to feel big. I don't know. I contradict myself, but whatever.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I love the Marvels. It shouldn't have cost $300 million. It's
Nope.
Yeah, go. Same thing with Solo, with all the reshoots, 300 million.
Indiana Jones cost like $500 million to make. Like,
it's impossible.
Who in their right mind greenlit that?
Yeah, I mean, all right. And one thing that kind of came out of not nowhere, we probably 99% knew this was going to happen, but again, the way that Lucasfilm announces stuff, a sentence at the end of a movie announcement. Oh yeah, Ahsoka, you remember that show from a month ago? Yeah, it's a second season. So Ahsoka's coming back. The story continues. We got that little doodle from Dave Filoni, which is a great one. We know everything from that picture. What's going on?
Exactly what's happening.
Why is Star Wars so lackluster with all the even this movie announcement? Just a post on StarWars.com that someone else has to tweet out before 2 hours for the official Star Wars account to put it on Twitter, and then one said that Filoni is doing season 2.
Can I be super honest? Can I be like, I love this kind of announcement. Like, just on a Tuesday,
on a weird Tuesday,
12 o'clock, like, no context, here you go. That's my kind of announcement. And the Ahsoka thing was hilarious. Like, it was just like, And Dave Filoni, who will be busy working on Ahsoka season
Yeah.
2. Like, wait, what?
It's like, dude, they put no Alan will love the Young Jedi Adventures. Like every 3 tweets is about Young Jedi and new episodes are coming and it's being nominated for all these children award shows.
Ahsoka season 2 is coming.
And now everyone's posting about it. Dude, just give it a little bit more push. You just push it a little bit. Again, zero surprise, but I'm glad that it's being confirmed, I guess.
Yeah, it's. I think it had to happen.
All right. Does this happen before the Ahsoka movie? I mean, obviously, right? Season 2 first, and then the Ahsoka movie.
Ahsoka movie? Dave's movie?
Sorry, the Dave Filoni movie. Sorry.
I think that's gonna be the Ezra movie. Just throwing shit out there.
Yeah. It's the final trilogy.
Could we see maybe Mando movie, Ahsoka show, then Filoni movie?
Probably, if there's not a season 4, The Mandalorian in between. I mean, they can't. It's so, I don't know. There's so much stuff right now. Let's say season 4 is coming, and it's a shortened season. And I've seen some people kind of write about it. Like, let's say 6 episodes. You can, I'm guessing, again, I don't know how productions work. You can probably do a shortened season and then go straight to filming the movie. And then release, let's say, season 4 in 2025.
But again, if the movie's gonna start production this year, like, why would
again? But maybe it's at the end of the year. Like, we don't know.
We'll see.
Anyway, let's say that the movie comes out.
I don't think Mando season 4 is gonna come out before this movie.
All right, so let's scrap season 4 for right now. Let's say the Mando movie comes out that May 2026.
And I'll say this: I think if the Mando movie is a $1 billion hit and just smashes the box office, I don't think Mando returns to Disney Plus. Like, I'll just throw it out there.
Doesn't return to what? Sorry,
Disney Plus. Like, I don't think there's another season coming.
No, it's the same reason why I thought that the Ahsoka show was never going to be animated. Once you put Ahsoka in live action, and again, I'm not saying that animation it's a lower art form than live action, but unfortunately, that's where all the money is and
that's where the eyes
goes. Yeah. So it'll be the same. If the Mando movie is, like you said, $1 billion,
it's not gonna go back to Disney Plus.
You did your job launching Disney Plus. Go now be a movie star. Like all the movie
relaunch
actors.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
That Jon Favreau, man, he launched the MCU. He launched Disney Plus, basically. And now he's relaunching Star Wars.
Bring Star Wars back. So does Ahsoka season 2 come before the Mandalorian movie?
No, I don't think so.
So what's going?
I really think they're gonna steamroll this movie. Like,
okay, so you think maybe even December 2025, and I can see it if they start now. Maybe
I really think it's possible.
And then if you do that, then you can, I guess Ahsoka season 2, 2026, 3 years, but she'll probably show up in the Mando movie. All right. Anyway, that's not a surprise that Ahsoka is coming. And I'm glad that it's coming back because even I wasn't the biggest fan of the last episode, this story's there. There's a lot of question marks, and I want to go where that. Want to see where that goes.
Alberto, before Dave Filoni announces it in a Vanity Fair article, does the Mando movie start with a crawl?
No.
Okay.
I almost fell off my chair.
So we're not gonna get the Star Wars fanfare. We're gonna
because I was gonna say the Filoni movie will definitely start with a crawl. But if it goes away, I think that Mandalorian Grogu is part of a trilogy or at least a duology with this Filoni movie. Then they have to be the same.
Do they?
You know what? Yeah, I think. You know what? It's Star Wars, and I think they've been
it's
close.
It's the grand return to the theater.
Solo had not a crawl, but we saw the letters, and then we got that crawl with Ahsoka, a semi-crawl.
It was a crawl.
It was. I'll change. I'll say it's coming. But would it be with the fanfare? I mean, it has to be.
I wish it was. I'll just, that's my angle. I wish it does start with a fanfare and kind of maybe helping us separate ourselves. Like, you're not watching a TV show in a big screen. You're watching a Star Wars movie.
All right. So that Buck had he's comment about the crawl. He doesn't want to
What
find
episodic
Radical.
films? They're over, Buck. They're over. The Skywalker saga is over. It's that Star Wars died, and girls don't like
died.
it.
Ah,
No, don't go into it. Yeah.
okay, let's leave it there. You imagine if now the Rey movie starts as episode 1, just like Doctor Who with season 1, or just be episode 1.
I'd be fine with it.
You'll be fine.
I think I'd be fine with it.
It's a new
I
one.
think.
Yeah. All right, so
Episode
let's
1A.
let's move on to something I dropped yesterday or 2 days ago. Star Wars What If, and again, now we're going away from official news. This is reports out there that Star Wars What If is gonna launch at some point. I don't remember if they said animated, but kind of if it's based off Marvel's What If, it will be an animated show. Dude, if I think that Mandalorian Grogu is a bad idea to launch Star Wars back in the movie theaters, this might get me to check out of Star Wars. It won't, but at least I can't with this. Don't give me this. I don't care all your cool ideas for a What If. I have zero desire to watch a Star Wars What If. Will I watch it? Probably, but I'm gonna be very. I'll be this one.
I'll be honest, I didn't like the Marvel one, and for very different reasons. I wouldn't want a Star Wars one, by the way.
Yeah.
So I haven't watched the second season of the Marvel one, by the way.
Mhm.
I don't want this, but like I also put myself in the mindset like there's a lot of people that don't love what Lucasfilm has done, and they're not necessarily Phantom Menace people. They're like just regular people. Are like, hey, I just don't like the direction this went in. So like, I think I can be respectful with something I don't like in Star Wars. Like it's not something I want to happen. I will watch it if it happens, and if I don't like it, I just won't talk about it. Like I do with everything I don't like.
I think again. I don't want this. I hope it's not like the Marvel one, because Marvel's What If is still kind of that alternate timeline kind of crossing, especially all the multiverse stuff they're doing. It does intertwine, so I hope it's not that.
No.
But I don't want the same stories that people have been wondering for 20 years. What if Anakin didn't turn to the dark side? What if Padme survived? What if Luke actually joined the Emperor? It's like, dude, no. So if they do this, it has to be something off the wall that no one's ever thought about. Because if it's those stories, why are we doing? There's so many ways that we can keep pushing Star Wars forward. Why are we doing this? I don't want it.
Bug is saying that if the show isn't called Infinities, then don't give it to us. If you don't know what Infinity is, it's a comic series that it's basically Star Wars What If. I can't remember all the scenarios right now. I remember there was like a good Darth Vader at one point who was like all white. I think there's one where Han leaves Luke and Dagobah and then like forgets about him. He's like, oh crap, I had to pick him up, and goes back like a couple years later, and Luke is like this Jedi Master now. So again, I can see myself watching it and having fun with it. I just don't see the point to this, honestly. Like Star Wars is such a vast galaxy, and so many different things can be happening in so many different time periods and corners in the galaxy. Watching Doctor Who now, like literally the possibilities are infinite. So I would have rather them going with something like that expands the story, not something that circles it back to that one point and makes it about like, oh, what if this happened?
Yeah.
And the last thing I'll say is like, take this with a grain of salt, because the source for this doesn't have the best track record.
Yeah. I already saw a different source, I think earlier today, saying like, no, this has been debunked already.
Okay.
And I hope so. Again, I don't know the track records of all these different websites out there. Not website, Twitter accounts. Again, it's something we keep saying, just push Star Wars forward. There's so many other stories that we could tell him. We have Legends. If you want What Ifs, go read some Star Wars Legends. We got Star Wars Visions with it's the most What If stuff.
I just blew my mind by myself. So it has to do with what Buck is saying. He's saying, "Here's why I'm okay with Star Wars What If. It opens the door to
Mhm.
adapting legend stories and characters that don't fit
Yeah.
in the current canon." You know what I think would be the coolest version of What If? What if they took like Legends books and
Mhm. Yeah.
adapted them into like shorts, like
Yeah.
maybe like 45-minute, like not a full episode or not a full movie, but kind of an episode or something, and just like present us like that. They've kept the Legends brand alive. They've done
Mhm.
the republishing of the books and the rebranding and everything. So like, I think that could be a cool way to like keep that alive and have their cake and eat it too. I
Mhm.
guess.
I was going to mention this because it wasn't my idea. I saw someone else that I follow on Twitter kind of posted it. Just do adapt the legend stories. And I said, yeah, that makes sense. Legend is still there, still treated as this. It's not canon, whatever. And then just those great legend stories that everyone wants them to adapt, just do those. And I kind of thought maybe just a smaller version. You can kind of just constrict them a little bit. But yeah, do a 45 minutes Throne trilogy or whatever, or give me Darth Plagueis if they're gonna change what it is. The Bane trilogy, give us something like that in 45-minute animated form. Yes, I'm all for that. But if it's just the same canon stories that we know, what if Yoda do this instead? What if Mace Windu didn't call Ahsoka citizen? It's like, I don't care.
What if he didn't call us like this?
Yeah. All right. I think that's it for Star Wars news. Surprised how much we got, but hopefully we'll keep
Nothing else
getting more.
happened. No, I don't think so.
There's other kind of stuff. So I guess
Beware the nameless.
Beware the Nameless. I'm so sad that I didn't get advance copies for the new books are coming out.
You're so spoiled.
I know. Every day I go to the post, not to my mailbox. I'm like, is it something there? Nothing. I'll buy them. All right, and I guess, and I haven't watched. Yell at me all you want. I haven't watched Godzilla -1 yet. So now everyone's freaking out because the director said he wanted to do a Star Wars movie, and he now Godzilla -1 had a screen at Lucasfilm because Dave Filoni set it up. So now everyone's going, just give him a movie. And again, I haven't watched it. Everyone I know loves it. Is it the same thing that, oh, look, a hot director, let's give him a Star Wars movie? Oh, the movie's not what people thought it was going to be. It sucked. Star Wars ruined it. Against like, just let it breathe. We don't need everyone right now. As soon as they make that hit movie to come, just take your time.
I won't say anything. I'll just say go watch Godzilla -1. It's playing in Plaza Las Americas and I want to go watch it, but
Yeah.
there's like a backlog of movies I haven't watched that I want to go watch.
I watched The Creator finally. I enjoyed it. It's a good movie.
Oh, you watched The Creator?
I watched The Creator. It's on Hulu. One day I'm like scrolling through Hulu. The Creator. I'm like, oh, I can watch it now, and I watched it. It's a pretty good movie.
Freaking loved it.
I'll leave my other one, my other one for World Between Fandom if we get it. All right, so let's go. Let's go to what was supposed to be our main topic, but there was a lot of Star Wars news that dropped. And it's our review of our favorite moments of Star Wars in 2023. There we go. 2023 review.
Worst moments
in 2023. I know it says best, but we'll just talk about our favorites because I don't want to. We'll talk about our favorite one, but just as a whole. 2023, Otis, I start kind of making this list. There's a lot of Star Wars that happened this past year.
We got a lot of Star Wars.
Yeah, and I thought, especially with the books, I'm like, yeah, we got maybe like 4 or 5 books that I read, and then I would start going through the list. Like, oh crap, yeah, this came out early 2023. I forgot about it. But I think in general, it was a good year for Star Wars. Whatever people say is dead, and not even count, of course, our celebration and all the announcements there. But going back, it got hype for everything that we got, and even hype for this year. And even now, again, Mandalorian movie. We're getting more Star Wars movies, so it's time to things are ramping up again, and I'm very happy. But overall, 2023, good year for Star Wars.
Yeah, I think so. Like it's kind of a weird year because I think every time we don't get a Star Wars movie, it's like, yeah, it's a weird year for Star Wars. But when you think about it, yeah, we got a lot of cool things. Like even like at the end of the year. So
yeah. So let's start with TV shows, which is what's been keeping, I don't want to say keeping Star Wars alive, but in not having the movies, then you have the live action shows and a lot of animated shows also. But again, we got Bad Batch Season 2, Mandalorian season 3, Vision season 2, Ahsoka, and Young Jedi Adventure. So a lot of there to pick and choose some very cool moments. And again, Star Wars for everyone. You got a young kids, go watch Young Jedi Adventure. You kind of tired about canon, go watch Visions. You love Clone Wars, you got the Bad Batch. You like live action and Clone Wars, is Ahsoka, Rebels, Mando, all these connect. So this for everyone. So we can't be complaining, this part of the fandom didn't get what they wanted. There's Star Wars for everyone this past year. I think that's something we kind of forget about, but it's there, and I'm glad that everyone gets a little piece of it.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so real quick, we'll go through this. I mean, our favorite show, at least my favorite show of last year, was Ahsoka. I
Yeah.
mentioned I wasn't the biggest fan of the last episode, but the whole season was more than I expected. I wasn't a huge fan of Ahsoka coming into this. The Rebels interpretation of Ahsoka had been my favorite, so I like this more mature Ahsoka. So I was very happy the way this show went. The production value was great, even from that first episode. Had that movie quality that we talked about. I love the music. The fighting scenes were pretty great, and of course, we got a bunch of great reveals that we'll keep talking about today. But the return of Anakin, Thrawn in live action, Sabine, the return of Ezra, which I'm like, yeah, whatever, leave Ezra alone. Great actor playing Ezra. Chopper, Hu Yang. So as a whole, I think Ahsoka exceeded my expectations, and I'm really excited for season 2 when it shows up.
Ahsoka had Ahsoka episode 6, which is my favorite Star Wars anything, and I'll just say that.
Mhm.
Balin Skull.
Balon's Call. All right, so between from the other shows, where were some things about the Bad Batch, at least the season 2, that you enjoyed? I was things just kind of, and I keep saying that if I'm consistent, one thing is that I'm a hypocrite. So I complain about the structure of the Bad Batch, but it's very similar to like Star Trek or even Doctor Who. That yeah, there's a main through line for the whole season, but every episode is its own thing, and the Bad Batch is the same. So I love some of the sillier episodes. That racing episode I love, and then I also know the episode with Crosshair. Just those
I,
kind of two bookends were very interesting.
yeah, with Bad Batch, I really enjoyed Crosshair story and
Mhm.
seeing how he goes from being this to then being that in Mount Tentis, I think they were, and then
Yeah.
seeing that cliffhanger with him and Omega stuck
Mhm.
there, and it just makes the mind run wild. Like, how are they gonna
Yeah.
escape? Are they gonna have to work together? Is a Bad Batch gonna get there? I'm excited for it. I like that the show has a conclusion in mind. Like, I
Yeah.
like that it's not like Clone Wars that got canceled, and for years we
Yeah.
didn't know like the story. So I'm happy they're gonna get to end it in their own terms. So
Mhm.
that's kind of cool.
It was still surprising, even though I expected, or not expected is kind of, yeah, I knew it was going to happen. But if one of the clones was going to die, because Echo's getting a lot of attention this season, but it's still surprising that they decided to kill one of the main characters. I know that Filoni, it's very close to what George Lucas' vision of Star Wars is, and Lucas has a bunch of interviews saying you don't need to kill the main characters to show that there's trouble out there. So I'm surprised that Filoni went, even though, and I should say Filoni is not, he's a producer, he's not kind of doing this
Thank you.
directly.
Thank you.
So kind of take away what I just said. But I was surprised that they did kill Echo with no body, no death, who knows? But I'm surprised it happened. And like every great Star Wars death or sacrifice was to save his brother. So Echo will pull one up for you.
Yep.
And for this next show, that actually, before I go to, actually, let's talk about Mandalorian. For a lot of people's Bad Batch season 2 was more a better show than Mando season 3. I love Mando season 3, maybe not my favorite of the whole series. Mandalorian is just a silly, exciting show. And I love Seaweed Man when he shows up, like Captain Shard. I love Plaisir 13 or 15 with Jack Black. It's a silly episode, but after you get away from that kind of launch that we're having, the other part of the episode is very kind of noir, Blade Runner, trying to find these robot killers out there. So I love the Mandalorian is this weird, crazy adventure out there, and that's what season 3 was. Plus, of course, hey, Bo-Katan is here, and we're gonna reclaim Mandalore.
Yeah. I really like Mando season 3. Like, I don't know
Mhm.
what to say. Again, I know a lot of people didn't. I liked
Yeah.
it more than most, and I think it's probably my favorite season. I don't know. I think it's like Mando isn't necessarily my jam, so this
Mhm.
season kind of was closer to my jam. So
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna highlight a couple of comments from some of the stuff we were talking about before. Buck saying that he loved the creator. My
the
hobby loved it
creator.
even more. He stayed away through the whole thing, which he never does when he watches films at home. Then Dale added talking about the Mandalorian movie. So in speculation, what the Mandalorian Grogu feature film length film is what makes it work, but my ideas might be a bit too much. I'll share a link on this on Twitter when it's closer to finish. Again, so I'm glad that Star Wars is out there again, the conversation. And we all love kind of the hype before a Star Wars movie. And then going to some of the other shows, Vision Season 2, which I really love. I love Season 1 a little bit more, but a lot of great episodes, especially that first one. I love Sith. Um, but this is what I love about Visions, and I'm very happy that Vision Season 3 is coming. It's all the different voices that come into it, and talking about there's something for everyone. Visions is one of those shows that there's no wrong answers in what was your favorite one. We're all gonna connect to something different because every episode is so different. Even if everything is about a Sith or a Jedi, every story is so different that someone's gonna connect to it. And even Creatures Reach, which is a lot of people's favorite, it wasn't mine. But the story in it, which kind of throws a wag the Star Wars story. Yeah, I'm gonna save you. Come with me. Oh, it's an actual Sith taking you and gonna turn you
Actually,
evil.
I actually watched that episode not that long ago because I
Mhm.
was like, man, that was crazy. Let me watch it again.
Yeah.
I loved Visions season 2. I didn't love season 1,
Mhm.
so I don't know, like season 2 I I at least like liked a lot every single episode,
Yeah.
and I the Among the Stars was the one from Chile. I can't remember the
Yeah.
name.
Mhm.
That for me was like so special.
Yeah. I love that one. And then
Sith
Sith
was
was my
sick.
Sith was my favorite.
The pit, like
The
that was
Pit
so.
Pit was intense. The Bandits of Golak, I think, was my second favorite one.
Oh,
And I Am Your Mother, which is totally completely
oh,
different for everything. I
I Am
just
Your
love that one.
Mother is so good.
Yeah. So, and that's why I say you have everything. You have
I
this.
really loved
We
it.
Yeah. Visions, man. That's give us more visions. All right, can't find my mouse. Here we go. So we already kind of mentioned this, talking about favorite TV shows, favorite episodes, and we kind of mentioned some of them already. But let's talk a little bit about Ahsoka, episode 6, Far, Far Away, the return of Grand Admiral Thrawn, or I guess in live action is first showing. Everyone makes it to a new galaxy. Balon and Sheen are doing their thing. Thrawn is crazy as hell, and he has the
Enoch.
witches. The naughty are here, the weird wolf creatures, dead things in the catacombs that we need to bring back to life. It's had everything. I I don't know, probably it's probably my favorite episode of Star Wars live action. Like you said, I gotta go through a few things, but at least for this season on this show, come on, you couldn't top episode 6, Far Far Away.
It's just go see what I said when that episode came out. I I just again it was just like a bombardment of
Mhm.
different things that I was maybe not expecting. And it was also like very cool. Every time Balin goes on a monologue, like,
Yeah,
"Oh, it sounds like you missed the Jedi." I missed the idea of
deal
it.
with it.
Um, Again, I don't know.
Yeah.
I freaking love that episode.
And the music when Tron goes bang, bang. Oh, love, love, love.
Yo, look who's here. Mo!
Mo, happy 2024, Mo. Bueno, buen año nuevo a todos por allá.
Feliz Año Nuevo.
Feliz, buen. Just,
Buen Año
man,
Nuevo.
my Spanglish is getting worse by the minute.
Good New Year.
Leave me alone. All right. Kind of talk about the Bad Batch, the Outpost, which was that one with Crosshair when he kind of
Mm.
sees how the Empire is treating the other clones. Mandalorian, I love the pirates, like I said, with
Oh, you love
again
that episode.
Pirate King, Gordon Shard. Talking about weird, that's why I love our Mandalorian. But of course, the
My,
finale is also up there.
I really like oh my god, the sequence with R4 and the Maelstrom. That's such a Doctor Who thing, by the way.
That is.
Uh, I also, it's still ingrained in my mind, like that scene, that opening scene with the Shadow Council
Oh yeah.
and Gideon and the music slowly building, like dun,
Hmm.
dun, dun, dun.
There's some great
Ah,
stuff, and even one of the favorite action scenes of the whole year. It's what his name is going up against the Praetorian guards with the three.
oh my god, that was so cool. The Praetorian Guards.
Yeah, past
How did
Vizsla.
people not like the season?
Right? When you start talking about, there's so many great things. The thing, people, when you start bringing Mandalorian culture and Bo-Katan, people are very close to what they want. So when it kind of gets, not flushed out, but kind of,
Grogu doing the knee slide
then
under the
everyone
fire.
did the Nisla and the finale and the little shield from Bo-Katan. I mean, it was great.
It was so
Great
sick.
season. Visions, like I mentioned, I love the Sith. And Shadow Warrior also for Ahsoka with the return of Anakin Skywalker. Hayden
That was a
Christensen.
good
We're gonna
episode.
be talking about that in a minute. This is where I said, really, all this happened in 2023. Let's talk about some of the favorite books, and these are just the ones I read. I know there's more that I didn't read, but The Eye of
Mhm.
Darkness, from a certain point of view, Return of the Jedi, Tales of Light and Life, Inquisitor, Rise of the Red Blade, Crimson Reign, Path of Vengeance, Cataclysm, The Battle of Jedi. All that came out this year. So it's impossible to kind of go through all of them and what our favorite moments were. But again, another great year for Star Wars literature. The High Republic, we got the end of Phase 2 with The Eye of Darkness, Battle of Jedi, and Cataclysm.
Cataclysm was this year, 2023, right?
Yeah, very early 2023. And sorry, Path of Vengeance, Eye of Darkness starts Phase 3. But we also got something different or away from the High Republic with Crimson Reign, which I really enjoyed that one, talking about Kira, and then Inquisitor Rise of the Red Blade, which I'm surprised when I just put a little, hey, we're going to be talking about books or were some of your favorite books. Everyone said Inquisitor Rise of the
Really?
Red Blade. Yeah, I'm surprised when this book came out. Again, I'm thanks to everyone that Del Rey that sent me an advanced copy. Everyone that got an advanced copy and started putting the reviews loved this book, kind of high
Hmm.
on their list. When the book was released, the Star Wars kind of fans didn't really get that hype. But now, when I ask about it, a lot of people go back to Inquisitor and the character Iskara Karis have been some of their favorites this past year. So, and it's a cool story. The only thing, like I mentioned here, I wasn't a fan that they kept pushing the narrative of it's all the Jedi's fault. The Jedi's are wrong. This all happened because of them. But once I kind of said, you know what, this is coming from someone that's fallen to the dark side. Of course, I don't have that point of view. So I did enjoy that a little bit more. But the Eye of Darkness, come on, give me High Republic, give me Martian Rogue saying this is my galaxy. I'm gonna tell you why and show you why. Eivor Chris, Elsword Man, Lena So, Porter Engel trying to find a way to get away out of the occlusion zone while still dealing with all the tragedy of the fall of Starlight a year before. You got Bell, you got Buriaga. What else? What else can you say? Eye of Darkness, my favorite book of
Great
this.
book. It's like a triumphant return to the High
Yeah.
Republic. And again, I'll just say this: I didn't love season two, phase two, but it was still good. Like that last batch of books was
Yeah.
Cataclysm. I loved.
Yeah.
Path of Vengeance, I thought could have been better, but still was pretty good.
Mhm.
So yeah, but Eye of Darkness, and
Path
even
of
Tales from Light and Life was pretty cool too.
Tales of Light and Life was great because it kind of breathed. It put us, yeah, the High Republic is coming back with all those characters that we know and love. And I won't spoil Path of Vengeance because I saw a comment from Borg that he hasn't read it. But your girl Martha Rowe, it's a highlight in that book, and she just goes off the
She's
rails.
Coco from
So
Cocoa Puffs.
yeah, but I love that Path of Vengeance and Cataclysm are kind of happening at the same time, but just on different sides, not the galaxy, but different sides of this conflict. So I love how those two works. And of course, thanks to Cataclysm, we got a chance to talk with its author, Lydia Khan, which is my favorite moment of 2023 doing this podcast, and probably forever until we get another author here, hopefully this year. But yeah, Cataclysm, come on, needs more love. Even
That
though people love that book also.
that Lydia Kang interview was so cool. She was
Yeah,
she was just so awesome about everything.
it was great. So go check it. I'll put a link up there later. So talking about favorite in-universe moments, and just from that list that I wrote, and you can tell me more, and you guys in the chat if you have more in-universe moments. So of course, the return of Anakin Skywalker, punctuated that he's played by Hayden Christensen, Keller and Beck, played by Ahmed Best, coming to save Grogu, which has been the question for
Great
five
moment.
years now. Extremely cool moment. And we got live action Thrawn. So those were my three kind of in-universe big moments. I think it has
I
to go back. I don't know. The easy answer is Hayden Christensen back as Anakin, even though we got him as Anakin, of course, with the Kenobi series last year. But this is different because he got to play Clone Wars Anakin plus War Between Worlds, Force Vision, plus a Force Ghost, kind of closed that arc for him, even though we expect him to be back. That was so great. But also that getting Ahmed Best back as a badass Jedi saving Grogu.
Yep.
What? And Thrawn, it's everything. Everything was great.
All of those moments I loved and would be on my list for sure. I would like to mention oh my god, what was I gonna mention? No.
You love it so much.
Getting Ezra back.
Oh, okay, okay.
It was a bit anticlimactic. Again, I was of the expectation that he would be with Thrawn in a cave listening to Dark Side of the Moon or something.
Yeah.
But he just killed it as Ezra, and I had to do no reconciliations in my mind. Like he was Ezra, and this is the next chapter of his story, and I was so happy to see him. Even if I didn't like that last scene with him, still like it worked.
There's not a bad word you can say about that performance in terms of is that Ezra or not. Since he showed up on screen in Manus Fandy, that was Ezra. Same as you said, that's a continuation of the story. He killed it. So I agree.
I want to mention Buck and Roberto are waving that Jedi Survivor flag, which I'm very happy because I've been honest about it. I didn't love that game. Like I'm excited for the next one, but I just don't think it lived up to the first one. But they're mentioning two awesome moments. The first one, it's a big spoiler, by the way.
Great.
It's Seer versus Vader. Like, oh my god, when that starts to happen, you're like, okay, let's go. And she just whoops his ass. And she eventually loses, but just thinking like, can Vader got his ass handed to him like by Seer and Kenobi in the same year? Pretty cool.
Yeah, like
and
3 months apart here.
Cal and Mary kiss in is one of the best moments of that game for sure. They found a cool way around the "I love you, I know" line. She kisses him, and he's like, "Oh, is that for me?" And she was like, "No, it's for me." So that was like a great moment.
Yeah, I gotta watch the cutscenes, which is what I did for the first one. So I haven't played them, so I might just watch the cutscenes and check.
But that Vader Seer scene is just like adrenaline.
I think I watched that one or watched part of it. I remember I don't know if you mentioned it here or posted somewhere. It's like, yeah, Vader gets his ass kicked twice in the same year. All right. So what else? What else I have? So, fan moments or reveals, kind of away from the TV shows. I mean, for the actual in-universe. Nobs Nation, Alan, if you're still here, I don't know. It's such a surprise that this character from a TV show it's how much people love this little. Of course, people are gonna love him, but it's not a lot of people that we follow. I mean, I guess we do. Not in our age range. This is in this show for kind of geared toward us. But everyone loves freaking Nobs. I don't have a Nobs thing, but Nobs Nation is out there.
Nobs Nation.
Dawn of the Jedi movie directed by James Mangold is a big one. people have been waiting for something to happen 10,000 years in the past. So we're gonna see how this goes. But it has to be Daisy Ridley arriving at Star Wars Celebration to announce officially the return of Rey Skywalker. It has to be the biggest fan
I,
moment and fan reveal, right?
I remember waking up that day, and I would wake up very early for
Yeah,
celebration, but that day I was like, it's the first one. Like, I don't think they'll make a huge announcement. And like waking up and seeing
yeah,
that picture of her on the stage and being like, oh, they brought her in to moderate. Cool. No,
yeah.
there's a
No,
movie coming. I was like, what?
dude, I had to take my kids to school that day, and my daughter did volunteer at the elementary school. She was in middle school, so I had to wait for her. So I'm in my car with my phone, just okay. There's a time difference, so our celebration is started. Let me see what's going on, and everyone, this is really here. Oh, Ray, and the whole thing, just pop, 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 pop. It was amazing. It's one of, even if we're not there for Star Wars celebration, just getting all those announcements at the same time, the hype for it, the people screaming for it when everything got announced, but bringing Daisy Ridley out kind of solidifies it. And we knew, we kind of expected this is going to happen. The two of us have been saying for whatever 2 years, whatever. Oh, they had lunch. Yeah, haha. She flew from London for lunch. So yeah, we can expect it, but still, it's a big moment.
I Did you see the recent interview with Daisy?
Yes, I
She's
saw
like,
this.
I was in the middle of shooting a movie, and Captain Kennedy was like, want to fly over here?
Yeah.
And then her mom being like, what do you talk about?
Yeah.
Like we all knew, like, come on.
It's also, and I'll believe, I won't say that she's lying, but it's for Daisy really. I guess she's an actress. It's, hey, if the head of Big Studio is calling, of course I'm gonna go. But there has to be a part of her mind that had to think, is this for another Ray movie or we're just
Of
gonna chat?
course. Of course.
But I love also in that interview she talks about, yeah, this is this online negativism. But when you are there in public, when you go to Star Wars Celebration, talk to people in person, that doesn't exist. That love for her, for the character, for Star Wars is real. So I know we're online a lot and we see it because it's loud. The general public doesn't know. It's that love for this franchise that Star Wars is dead. It will never be dead. It will be dead for this little group online, but it will outlive all of us.
I'll never forget. This is of course anecdotal. Like I don't have any analytics for this. When I think Ryan Johnson did like a 1 year tweet about Last Jedi, and I
Mhm.
remember some of these pundit shows were like, oh, the people are being horrible to him. Look at that, they hit the movie. And
Yeah.
if you scroll, definitely there was a lot of people. Oh, you killed Star Wars. I like sat. I was in H&M with my girlfriend, and I was bored, so I sat down. I was like, I have a lot of time to kill, and I went scrolling through the tweets. For every single hate tweet he got like four saying
Yeah.
like, "Oh, we love you! Like, can't wait for your trilogy."
Yeah.
So like, yes, it's very loud, but I really, really, really refuse to like accept it's the majority of fans.
There's sometimes when people say, "Oh, don't go read in the comments." When so, and I being dumb, let me go read the comments. Same thing. It's like the first
It's
10,
like too
15.
horrible,
Yeah,
and then
and
it's
they're
like,
horrible.
oh, so, yeah.
But the first 10 or 15, great, 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 great. This sucked. Okay, shut up. Great, great, great. It's like, are we also on our side kind of part of the problem by amplifying those voices? Like, oh, I can't believe this is going out there. And like, it hasn't shown up in my feed. I just hear people complaining about something I haven't said, I haven't read. It's out there, but it's trying to just snuff it
Well,
out.
it gets like 3 hate comments, but oh, they're being horrible. It has like 1,000 likes and
Yeah, yeah.
5,000 retweets.
Oh man. All right, so the last one I have for this new characters, it can be from the TV shows, from books, or video games, or whatever. So of course, Balon Skull, we got Shin Hati, we got Nobs, like I mentioned, Iskara carries. For me, I love Amadeo Assassins for Tales of Light and Life. The Naughty Oti, I didn't forget, I put the Naughty there. And I love Lola from Star Wars Visions, that Sith episode. Let's talk about the Naughty real quick. Are you gonna?
By the way, Buck is making a great point. Daisy revealed
That's
she's
a
married
surprise.
in their interview.
Yeah, I just kind of throw.
Every,
Yeah, because my husband. I called my husband to tell him we can say something.
wait, you're married?
Yeah. Oh
Go
man.
ahead.
No, so let's talk about the Naughty real quick. Another Star Wars species that can just be, yeah, they're just the nomads.
Hermit crabs.
The hermit crabs, the hobbits, or the Harfoots. and now Star Wars Twitter used it to, oh, we can't wait for the weekend. It's the naughty. They're kind of just bouncing out along. It's like, we love the naughty as soon as they showed up. So
They
I'm
had
glad they're here.
tests. I love the naughty.
Right. But I think Balon's call for most of the fandom is that character that came out of nowhere, uh, played great. Of course, we have that triad happening, but it's a character we want to know where that's going. We want to know the past. How did he got there? Like you said before, oh yeah, I missed the idea of the Jedi. When did that change? He knew Anakin. But now he wants to build it to be something more. I don't want to go to a war. I just want to build this Jedi Order, whatever, into something more. Yeah, the father, son, and the daughter, and Mortis, all this might be into it. This story is very interesting. I think the character is gonna be who replaces this actor now is going to be very interesting to see how this pushes the story forward. And it's one of those things that even I'm not the biggest Dave Filoni fan when it comes to some of his decisions. He introduced a great character. I want to see where he takes it.
Yeah, it's his choice to make.
Yeah.
I want to mention Aslan Rel. He wasn't introduced in 2023,
Yeah.
but he was introduced.
Yeah.
He appeared in other books, like just a guy there.
Mhm.
He's a very interesting introduction to the High Republic, and I want to see where that goes. Mention Mark and Rowe because every day Mark and Rowe is a new character. So he's awesome.
Oh man,
I think that's it.
Aslan Rel, that's a guy. Because reading Phase 2, especially the first, he was there in what's the name? Path of what?
Path of the Seed.
Path
We
of-
were here. Like, what happened to that guy?
Yeah, it's like he was there.
He's the
found
key.
He's the freaking key. Like he found the husk. Where is he? He's in Phase 3. You just need to believe that we have a plan. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll shut up. Aslan Rel, come on,
Such a
great
weird
character.
guy.
All right, that's it for Star Wars in 2023.
Really? That's it? Okay. Cool.
I don't know what else. Tell us what else happened. What favorite things? I don't know, though. It's too much has
I don't know.
happened.
I'm sorry. I love Star Wars Celebration. That's like probably my highlight of 2023.
Yeah, Star Wars Celebration. Even though everything was great, we didn't get to see. We saw the potato cameras of the all these trailers, but still the reveals were there. Everyone's hyped for the Acolyte. Skeleton Crew, the little bit that I saw looked great. The 3 movies announced was the biggest one of all, and the panels were great. What we were able to see, some of the panels were great. So always 3. We'll have to wait till next year, right? 2025 for the next one, but we'll be fine. All right, Oti, you want to do a quick war between fandoms?
Yeah, sure.
All right, it won't be a recap of 2023. That's too much, but we'll do a little bit. So
early 2023, we got Cocaine Bear, and then
Cocaine Bear.
I love that movie.
It's I think I told you my daughter loved that movie.
It's ridiculous.
We rented because of her. We watched it, and we all loved it. War between fandoms. All right, so Oti, also let's just go to it. Rebel Moon. You watched Rebel Moon? I watched Rebel Moon.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, let's go back to Bug. 2023 was a good year for Star Wars. Let's keep it there. Dude, I was so excited for Rebel Moon because I'm a fan of Zack Snyder. I love most of his movies. I know Bug doesn't like Man of Steel. Man of Steel is one of my favorite MCU. I'm sorry if I'm speaking out turn, Bug. I think the characterization of Superman, not a lot of people love from Man of Steel, but I love that movie.
By the way, I'll leave it.
Go. So anyway, so I was excited for Zack Snyder to do this big sci-fi epic because I do love his stylistic choices. Even the zombie movie for Netflix was entertaining. I just want to be entertained with it. Yeah. And I know it's Star Wars is and by the time I got to it, the reviews were kind of up and down. So people loved it, some people didn't. I said, you know what? I'm just gonna watch this movie. It's not my favorite. I gave it I think like 2 stars. Actions were cool. Could have taken 30% of the slow motion out because it lost any impact. Slow motion is cool when it makes sense. When the whole action scene is in slow motion, it has no effect on the story. Too many characters introduced that didn't have anything to do because we didn't get their history. And I think that's what either this longer version, this R-rated, is going to be, or I think seen that trailer for part two. I think that's where we're gonna get the backstory to a lot of these characters. But right now, I don't care about any of them. If you remove a lot of the freaking slow motion to give me more time, remove the Jamu Hansu's character, remove the twins, kind of have them in the background because they're very important, but keep, I'm sorry, I don't remember the names of the character, keep Sofia Boutella character because we got
I
along
was
with her.
watching it yesterday. I don't remember the name of any of them.
So her character was fine, and we got a little bit of her backstory. The guy that learns how to control the wild stallion. You know what? I like that character. And we got a little bit that he's a slave or he's paying off this debt. Okay. And then there was someone else. I don't even remember. Someone else. I said, give me those three
Bye,
characters.
Roberto.
All right, Roberto. Thanks for being here. So give me those characters and Huisman, also from Game of Thrones. I like. Give me those four characters, kind of their story with Charlie Hunnam not being revealed as this traitor. Give me those characters and set up their stories that I like. And then have this voice, no, there's these rebels. We need to find them. And then do that in the second movie. Introduce this general that Hansu is playing in the second movie. Then it has more time to breathe. I think he tried to push too much into it. Like you tweeted out yesterday, this focusing that he did, that you only focus the center and then everything else in so focused was so annoying. Worse than the slow motion, which was, again, too much. I know some people are really into it, and I want to see the second one just I guess just to torture myself. I was so hyped up for this movie, and from the start, it's bad. It's bad. I'm sorry.
I'll say this because again, I don't talk about things I don't like.
Doctor Who.
I thought this movie's biggest sin is that it's extremely mediocre. And I felt this way for a lot of movies recently because I think a lot of blockbusters have been very mediocre. I don't think this is the movie to take a passionate stance on. Like, I don't think this is the worst movie ever made. I don't think it's Zack Snyder's worst movie.
Yeah.
I don't think it's his best movie, and I don't think it's the best movie ever made. So these passionate fights about this movie confuse me because I watch it and I'm like, okay.
It's a movie.
That's a movie I watched, I guess. So I don't know. Those choices, I tweeted about it. I know they are stylistic choices. Zack Snyder is someone who knows what he's doing. They just come off as extremely amateur filmmaking. Yeah. Like sometimes a character is talking and you can't see their face because the focus is like here. Like,
yeah,
what's happening? And just another thing, I don't want to call anyone out, but sometimes I've seen people praise this movie like, oh my god, oh, wow,
yeah,
who bash Star Wars for things that maybe sins that I saw in this movie. So I feel like, really, this is the movie.
yeah. I told someone, it felt like Zack Snyder trying to do a Zack Snyder movie. It's like very amateur. It's like, oh, I want to do a movie in the style of Zack Snyder. I'm gonna turn it to 11.
Like, and I saw his comments. Like some comments came up yesterday, I guess, and he was like, "Oh, like what they talking about when it was originally meant as a Star Wars movie, and everything's like, because it's cool, it's cool." Like, I'm so glad this isn't a Star Wars movie then.
Oh
because,
man,
like, yeah, Star Wars needs to be cool, but Star Wars is extremely not cool at times. So,
and even keeping with people that wanted to do Star Wars and then got told no, Benioff and Weiss have the new Netflix show.
Have you seen the articles versus the headlines? The headlines are very much like, oh, Lucasfilm, the article's very like, yeah, they didn't want to do it, so we went did other things.
Yeah,
like,
it's cool. I mean, I've learned to click on those articles and read them. So yeah, it was very we met with Luke with Kathleen Kennedy. We wanted to do a kind of Birth of the Jedi movie, and then they decided they didn't want to do that movie, so we moved on. So yeah, it's fine. But again, all the articles are, they're not doing it. Kathleen Kennedy hates them. Which maybe she does. We don't know her.
Maybe they didn't get
Um,
along.
all right, so like I said, I watched The Creator, really enjoyed it. A movie which again is not fandom based, right? I watched The Killer with in on Netflix. I
Ooh,
love that movie.
I
One of my
love that
favorite,
movie.
one of my favorite ones. Um, let's finish off with a little bit Doctor Who just to finish how we started. Haha, pun, kind of Kylo Render. Oh,
This
they did
is
become a movie, and
this is the
um,
year I became a Whovian, and that's it will always be a special year.
yeah.
I was thinking I'll probably, if I take care of myself, I'll probably be alive for the 100 special.
Oh man, let's just think about the 70 year, 40 years now. So one thing at a time. Um, so I guess they treat it still like a special. It's the first one with Shuri as the Doctor. Church on Ruby Road. Talk about weird things, but it's very Doctor Who. We had these trolls, or I forgot the name. Goblins, I guess.
Goblins.
When they spy a ship in the sky, hidden in the clouds, they feed on coincidences. Um, Great episode to bring Doctor Who back. I really enjoy his interpretation of the Doctor when he runs into the cop. I start talking out about the ring. That was very Doctor Who,
Yep.
very Doctor, and I love. They're still doing the Mavity thing, and I one of my favorite parts is when he's with Ruby on the goblin ship. I said, "Oh, so these goblins are time traveling, blah blah." Oh, that's so cool. No, they're not cool. Time travelers are cool. There's just
I'm
I for
learning the language of
off
robots.
road. Come on, that's perfect, perfect. So I really enjoyed this episode. And they're singing. I had someone else said it wasn't me. Like poor doctor has to go sit through, and you'll see this when you finish your rewatch. Like through three song numbers in the past like 2 or 3 days. So there's a singing number at the end with
Jody,
Whittaker. We had the toy maker, and now we have this one. So like in 3 days, you have to see through three sing and dance numbers.
hey, I so it's my turn.
Yeah, go ahead.
I liked it. I I didn't think it was like amazing, but
Mhm.
so far I haven't. I'll be honest. Like I don't think any of the Christmas specials or the first episodes for. I actually like Rose, but like the
Mhm.
first one for David and the first one for Matt, I don't think were like their best
Yeah,
episodes. So like my grievances with this episode will probably be over once
yeah.
Chuti's tenure is over, because my biggest issue is really that like we saw like one side of his doctor. I really appreciating, for example, Matt Smith, just seeing the range he has
Hmm.
as the doctor. And I'm sure Shuti will get to that as
Hmm.
the show goes on and different situations happens. But since I haven't seen it, I'm still like, okay, like it's gonna take a little bit getting used to.
Yeah,
But like I liked him. I really like. There's a moment when he starts. He does the doctor thing of figuring things out and being like, "Oh
yeah,
yes, this is that was
yeah.
perfect." So
Hmm.
I think he's just gonna nail it.
Yeah, I mean, the first episode is always difficult, not just because he's a new actor, but usually, and it didn't for this time, but usually the doctor isn't that involved in his first episode, recovering from the regeneration or whatever. But I love also when he thinks that everything's fixed, and then Ruby's not there, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
different timeline. And the mom, it's no, I didn't adopt all these kids, and she didn't like having the kids adopted. And he starts figuring everything out, and the crack in the ceiling, very similar to the crack with Matt Smith.
Amy,
Yeah, and it's like, oh, all this, and he starts to figure it out. Yeah, this is Doctor Who. So all that worked great for this opener. So I did,
you get the time loop thing when him
yeah.
going back and having her stay.
Hmm.
I was gonna mention something else that I'm blanking on. Come on.
For this episode or something.
No, I think it was for this episode.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever. Maybe it wasn't important. But
um,
I liked it. I'm very excited for
yeah,
May.
I'm
Like,
just excited for more Doctor Who, and it's not too far away. It's coming up in a couple of months, I think.
and now I'm going through this thing that I'm thinking. Like, I've started to realize, like, I'm still in Matt Smith. I'm about to go to Capaldi, but I
Yeah,
like thinking of scenarios the Doctor is in and thinking of other Doctors in that
yeah.
scenario. And I'm thinking, man, I would love to see in Shuti with River song. Like that would be like like good chaotic, I think.
I mean, River Song is my favorite character in the whole
She's
Hoovers. She's the best. She has great chemistry with all the doctors she plays, and wait till you get her with Capaldi. It's just phenomenal. But also, it's the range of all the doctors. I love that Tennant, when he gets angry, that's when he's pissed, right? He's yelling, and you can see the emotions into it. Matt Smith, on the other hand, I love when he goes quiet and he goes soft, and it's like, oh crap, he's serious now. And
I
Capaldi's story different, so I love all those different kind of interpretations of the same character.
I love how Matt Smith can be like the silliest doctor and the darkest one. Like, dude, that episode when
Yeah.
they do the
Mhm.
whole old Amy thing and he leaves her behind, I was like, what are you doing? He's like, no,
Oof.
this is necessary. This is necessary. I have to do it. I was like,
Yeah,
what?
yeah, yes, that's too much. Even because when you posted that picture, and I'm starting to remember the episode, and I kind of searched something, and I reread that, and like, oh crap, right, he left her behind. It's like he can be, he can be. But then
I,
you
I,
get the episode with Van Gogh, and it's like I'm crying because this is so emotional.
I really love his relationship with Amy. And what I
Mhm.
was gonna say originally, now I remembered. I love that in Shruti, it's like this young spirit to Doctor Who
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
Matt Smith is like the youngest Doctor, right? But he's such an old soul.
Mhm.
And in Shruti, he's not really that young. I think he's like 35 or 33 or something. So he's not old, but he's just not that
Yeah.
young. But
Mhm.
he feels like energetic. He brings that
Yeah.
energy, and I don't know. I'm very excited to what the show is gonna be now
Mhm.
because it's kind of like a new beginning for it. So we'll
It
see.
is. It is. I think that's one of the reasons they decided to call it like Series One to kind of start again instead of
Rebranding with the logo and
yeah.
everything.
And the intro, I love the intro. The intro is great. And talking about production value, it's finally up
Oh
after
no, it's
60
night and
years.
day.
But talking about old souls, by the time you get to Capaldi, which physically he's a very old doctor compared to Matt Smith, but also the doctor itself, the character's gone through so freaking much. And by the time it ends, it's like you feel for the guy. So yeah, it's great to now have. And Whitaker was also younger in spirit, but Shoot is just off the charts. So it's very interesting. All right.
Loving
So
Doctor Who, really, really loving Doctor Who.
yeah. So again, this if there's a show or movie that doesn't click with you, give it 4 or 5 more tries. Maybe eventually
Force yourself to like it,
force yourself to like it.
or wait
Words.
until Disney buys something related to it, and then
Yeah.
you'll just watch it and jump in.
Yeah. All right. One thing, just when have you watched Echo? Talking about Disney
I
Plus.
have not. I'm
Okay.
gonna try to watch it tomorrow, but as I said, there's a couple of movies I want to see in the theater before they leave. So,
Yeah. It's 5 episodes. It's the
did you
same
see it?
Disney Plus. I watch it. It's
It's
the
good.
same thing with Disney Plus that it's a 50-minute episode and the finale is like 33 minutes. So don't complain about Mandalorian. It's just a Disney Plus thing now. I enjoyed everything. There's a part on the finale that I was like, really? I get it, but it kind of whatever. There's a little post-credit scene at the end, which kind of, oh, okay. Now I'm interested to see where this is going for some other shows are coming. And there's a news that dropped today about people returning to another Marvel show.
Mm,
So, and with the end of post credit scene, it makes sense that those characters are coming back. So,
okay.
I
We'll see.
enjoyed it. It's a good watch. It's a character I didn't know anything about. Just did it need to be a TV show for this character? Whatever. It's the same
Whatever.
with Agatha Harkness or whatever. I don't care for that show, but we'll see when it comes out.
Okay.
All right, so that brings an end to War Between Fandoms and actually an end to our return to podcasting and
Welcome.
to doing all this. Look at that. I gotta go. It's Star Wars. I mean, the NFL postseason just started. The playoffs are going on.
You
My
just lost me.
the Jaguars didn't make it, even though they had been leading the whole year, and they just stopped. But my Dallas Cowboys are in the playoff tomorrow. They'll be playing.
Do you have
All
like
right.
3 different teams?
I have two. Look at Alan saying River and shooting a gay club. It will probably happen.
Two
So the
teams.
Dallas
That's
Cowboys,
convenient.
Dallas Cowboys have been my favorite team for 30 years now. But living in Florida, I had to choose a Florida team to rally behind. And for the past like 4 or 5 years, the Jaguars have been, and they've sucked. They finally got better these past 2 years, and they just choked on it the last 6 seasons, 6 weeks of the season, and I'm
Quick
angry.
quick mention talking about Florida sports. I went to a Tampa hockey game.
Oh, the Lightning.
It was very good. I had a ton of fun.
I haven't been to a hockey game. I really want to. So
It's
hopefully
the
eventually I'll go.
closest to soccer American sports
Yeah.
is gonna get, and I know you guys have soccer.
It's more soccer than soccer. All right, Oti, before we leave, let me say thanks to a lot of people. I'm going to meet someone, but thanks to Bugs and to Alan, Roberto, Amy, Dale, Brennan, and if I meet someone,
Amy wasn't here.
sorry,
You
not
talking
Amy
about Amy
Mo.
Pond?
Yeah, Amy Pond, she's still in that 60
Thank you,
years
Amy.
waiting. Yeah, that episode, man. Poor Amy. She's waited a long time. All
You
right,
know
well,
who waited more? Rory. He waited 2,000 years.
Dude, that freaking scene. Rory, why you have to be so human? The Roman.
I love the Roman.
All right,
Bye, guys.
see you guys next week. Maybe if there's Star Wars news, we'll be back. If there's no Star Wars news, I don't know.
We'll do a
figure
Doctor Who
something out.
episode.
Yeah, and be on the lookout for that new podcast that Otis doing. Episode coming soon. I hope I'll be there soon also. So thank you guys. See you next week. Stay safe. Be safe. May the force be with you.